You're live. About to be live on Instagram and 3, 2. Look at that. Timing is crazy. No, what a great song to hear. Every time, you know?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Especially after a win, it's amazing.
I absolutely love it. I think it's better than the Orlando Magic song by far.
It is better than the Orlando Magic song, and I looked up how like the Knicks Twitter always shows like the starting 5 every game, and like how the layout's really cool and consistent and stuff. I looked up the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the past couple of games, and the Sixers tonight. The Magic and Cavs both need new design teams because that's trash. It's really trash how they do their layout. It's almost as trash as the 76ers offense the past 2 games.
I haven't really looked at their design too much, but I mean, I'll take your word for it. Some teams suck at their design.
You know who's missing out tonight, Mill?
Who?
He's on the thumbnail. He's in jail. He's locked up on Anunoby Island. He made one shot and it was on a fast break. He might never play basketball again. His name is Tobias Harris, baby. He's making $40 million, and he ain't doing a goddamn thing against these Knicks, or for anyone else for that matter. This man's about to go from $40 million this year to less than $20 million next year. What a disappointment of a contract. And OG Anunoby, my fiance literally called this man OG BY Anunoby today. So he's now not only a basketball player, he's a gynecologist. He does everything you need. He murdered the game, along with Josh Hart's triple-double. That should probably be mentioned.
First game back since he went down, and it's great to have him back, honestly. I wasn't 100% sure that he was going to play tonight. I know that they mentioned that he's, like, all clear, but it was still questionable if he'd play tonight. But really glad he did, and he's back. He looked really good out there. I mean, made his first shot, and he ended the game with 14. He was 6 for 11, 2 for 5. I mean, still pretty efficient, like just how he was before he went down, and we knew him for about a month. So I love what I saw from him between, the rebounds, the defensive presence that he just brings to this team. It's incredible. I mean, I think it really is contagious when he's out there, that the Knicks want to defend better. They want to play better. His energy is really contagious out there.
100%. Anyone on Instagram, we always love you guys watching us over there. If you want to or can, come over to YouTube. Give us a thumbs up here, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. When you're on Instagram, while we're up, it's harder for us to look at your comments. Everyone on YouTube, make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe, give us a bunch of thumbs up. We're actually starting with 154 people in this thing right now. This is awesome. I know there's over 1,000 people watching Knicks Film School. I know there's a bunch of people watching Knicks Media. There's so many people watching so much Knicks content because there's a lot of us and there's a lot of W's to go around, baby. Jameis Winston, not only the only W getting signed, the Knicks are back. We on the way back up. Josh Hart, 20 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. This man had a triple-double by the middle way point of the third quarter. The Knicks were up 24 points on his triple-double assist. It was a dominating, unbelievable, oh my God, I can't even fathom or explain how great this game was to watch from beginning to end. Jalen Brunson, 20 points, 7 of 12 shooting, only had to play 27 minutes. It didn't matter. Candace Parker, you keep hating on the Knicks. You keep hating on New York. You thought Tyrese Maxey mattered. Girl, you played in the WNBA. You're a Hall of Famer. You know defense matters. You know what Tyrese Maxey got? He got no D. He's got all O, no D. And you know what no D does when you're going up against a team that has all D? You get no points. I forgot the guy's name on TNT that jinxed it. He was like, I guarantee you they both score 80. They're both most likely going to score 90. At least one of them will score 100. You lied, bro. If this was FanDuel, you took a huge L because they both did not score 80 points. 79 is where you stay at, Philly. 1979, the year my sister was born, that's the year you're stuck in. Go back to the ABA. Get out of here. Tobias Harris, stay in jail.
Oh my God, that was crazy. Can you reiterate what Candace Parker said? Because I saw the clip for a quick second, but what was it that she said?
she was just like, I don't, it wasn't even that big of a deal, honestly. I'm gassing it a little bit, as New Yorkers do, but she picked the Sixers to win, which she was like, what are you guys forgetting about Maxey coming back? Because Shaq was picking the Knicks to win. Candace Parker, at this point, she's a known Knicks hater, picking the Sixers to win. The Sixers without Joel Embiid are like, what, 7-20 now? The Knicks without OG and Randall actually managed to almost stay at 500. Tyrese Maxey, I'm sorry, man. You're a great player. You're fun to watch. You're exhilarating, exciting. You are not a number one on an NBA team. It is what it is, man. That's okay. That's not even an insult. Like, you're a great number two at 23, 24 years old. But you picked Tyrese Maxey when OG Anunoby was coming back in the Garden. And the Garden turned up, and this man drilled threes, and Josh Hart, bless this man's soul. I'm sorry. I got to take an L. I said Josh Hart's overpaid. At this point, I can't even say that anymore. This dude's a monster. He plays great with or without shooting great. 20 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. I might say it 12 more times during this live stream, honestly.
You know what? I have to sign my forms too for the Josh Hart apology, because I've gotten down on him before earlier in the season, or maybe just a few months ago. I believe I specifically made a comment after the RJ and IQ trade where I just thought that with the way our bench looked, I didn't think that he would be able to lead that bench. This is when we still had a starting five and he was coming off the bench. So I didn't think that he'd be able to lead that bench and provide consistent scoring, especially for us in the playoffs. But this dude has pretty much just proved everyone wrong. Like, every single person that has said he's overpaid or said he can't, like me, lead a unit. I mean, he's been starting. He's been insane. 19 rebounds from your 6'4" guard, along with 20 points and 10 assists. I don't know if you can ask for anything better than what we're getting right now. I don't think a lot of people, second half of the season, Josh Hart is a real thing. We have to keep mentioning it because it's just insane. It needs to be studied. I don't know what this dude does for the second half of a season. I don't know if the first half, there's a lot of players that ramp up in the first, they're not as ramped up in the first half. And then the second half, that's when they feel more comfortable. That's really showing right now. Just the way he's been able to play and grabbing triple doubles so often, it's insane.
Usually it's bigger dudes though. For old head Knicks fans, we all they would know Larry Johnson had to ramp up throughout the year. Heavier guy, takes the offseason off a little bit. By the time it's January, February, you're finally in game shape. You're ready to go for the playoffs. Luka Doncic, up until recently, his first couple of years, very known to be out of shape and then plays way into game shape. Josh Hart looks like he could run a marathon year round.
Yeah.
So I don't actually understand. And it might be because this was coming off the bench earlier in the year, and then he's a starter, and now he's I know my role, I know what I got to do. And that might be part of it. So I don't really know if it's necessarily he has to play himself into game shape for later in the year. Maybe it's just that he knows what his role is more often, and it's easier to do that. Mill, we have 294 people on. This is the most we've had on since you had the trade column. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyone on Instagram, appreciate the support. Come over to YouTube, hit the like, share, all that good shit like that. And I do want to say there's a bunch of good comments coming in. We're going to try to get to a lot of them. Just real quick, Tim Savage edits. OG looks great, but I'm concerned about Randall. Hope he can come back and perform as he's used to. And great game from Josh throwing that headband. I loved the headband throw. That was mad funny. Mill, I wanted to ask you about Randall real quick. We could talk about the Sixers getting annihilated for 99% of this. But how much stock do you put into Julius Randall putting up clips of him shooting in an empty gym or playing tennis with his strong, not hurt arm?
Well, I think he's progressing really well. I know that the clips we're seeing, you just said it. It's with his non-dominant hand, and I just think we should be hopeful that he is hitting the right checkpoints. And we've seen him warm up. He's been warming up with the Knicks for a few games now. We've seen there's also clips out there of him taking shots in a gym. So I'm not all too worried that some of these clips include him playing with his non-dominant hand, but he's also putting in the work right now. I can attest, I can guarantee you he is putting in the work to come back as soon as possible. He's such a hard worker. I'm putting in my stock. I'm putting a lot in this stock for him to come back soon and to be healthy. Even though he didn't get the surgery, I would say that he should be somewhat healthy. And it's been like what, a month now since he's been out.
Yeah, like January 27th ish. I think that was the Miami game.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit more than a month, but I have a lot of hope that he's going to come back and to be able. I mean, he obviously won't be the same, and I continue to wonder if his injury will affect his playing style. If we will see him play less aggressive, but I still have hopes that he will come back soon.
Angelo Pellegrino, $1.99 super chat. Thank you for the support. Great show tonight so far, guys. Thank you, Ange. Appreciate it. There are two people left this comment. One, Dylan Spray from YouTube, and where was the other one? SPR from Twitter. It's the first time the Knicks have held an opponent to under 80 points in 3 consecutive games since 2000, which since the 90s were actually known for games like this up until the early to mid 2000s, and the past 15 years have not been known for anything close to this.
That's a crazy stat.
Insane. It's even more unbelievable that they managed to lose one of the games.
I really wanted them tonight to hold the 76ers to 72 points so badly. Dude, I was watching that fourth quarter. I'm just waiting for the 76ers to miss every shot so that we can, we could take back the record basically where we held an opponent to the least amount of points.
We held Orlando to 74, then we got held to 73.
Yeah.
And if we held them to 72, it would have been funny. That would have been
I would have loved it.
Would have been awesome. That would have been nice. Tim Savage Edits goes, good luck with Tibbs adjusting to Randall and Achua in the rotation. At this point, Mill, it's really hard to even imagine because the rotation tonight, let's just go through the guys that played real quick. I'll just go through the quick stat line. Just minutes. We don't need to go through all the points. It was actually really well balanced. There was 6 guys that scored between 13 and 20 points. That is a really, really well balanced game. Hart had 39 minutes. Brunson had 27. Obviously low because of the blowout. And Hart, 39 kind of is low for him if you think about it. DDV played 34. OG played 28 his first game back. iHeart played 19, still obviously nursing the Achilles, trying to ramp up, and this was a blowout again. Achua 23, McBride 22, and Bogdanovich 22. Burks 11. Sims, for some reason, only got garbage time 5, and Shake Milton 4. Not including Sims or Shake Milton. Mill, at this point, once we bring back not necessarily Randall, not necessarily Robinson, but Randall, I think Bogdanovich and Burks are both RIP out of this rotation, more or less. Bogdanovich might be the 9th guy, but I don't know how long he'll really have a leash for once Randall's fully ramped up.
If that's the case and that ends up happening in the playoffs, I'll be left speechless just because thinking back on when we first made that trade and we thought about how deep this team would be and that those two guys make us deep enough for a finals run or Eastern Conference Finals run, and then they won't even be included in that. That kind of blows my mind because, what are the odds that just happens to us? We get a guy who's a 20-plus point scorer, and then we have Alec Burks, who, again, I've said before that we shouldn't have too much high expectations for, but this guy has been just not able to do anything since he's become a Knick. I've expected at least 1 or 2 good games, but that's not the case at all. And I honestly feel bad for him. I'm not sure how he's supposed to get out of this funk when it's been going on so long. And he's just going to get the Fournier treatment soon enough when all our guys come back healthy.
Him and Shake Milton got to play one-on-one 7 games, best of 7, game to 21.
Everyone's Shake watching. Milton took some pretty bad shots at the end there. I don't know.
When you haven't played in a while and you're a buyout candidate, you get in there and you're like, if I make this 40-footer, I get time.
I think he got blocked on the last shot of the game, and it looked like he got hurt. I'm not 100% sure if they mentioned anything yet. It looked like he was holding his wrist, and then someone commented and told me he was holding his leg. Man, I hope that's not the case.
He was holding his ego. His ego's right here. He's just holding his ego. Mill, just to reiterate how sad this is, Bojan Bogdanovich on the Detroit Pistons this year played 28 games, was averaging 33 minutes a game, 20 points a game, 41% from 3, 47% overall. Alec Burks on the Pistons this year was averaging, was averaging 13 points a game, 40% from three, 90% from the line at 21 minutes a game. This year, for the Knicks, they're both averaging around half of their scoring, shooting worse across the board. Like, Alec Burks is a career 87% free throw shooter. He's made it 69% of his free throws. Like, what are you doing, man? What is happening out there?
I have no idea. When Burks was on the Pistons, did he come off the bench? I'm assuming he did.
Most of the time, yeah.
So I really don't understand it. I know they're playing out of their roles, but my dad was talking to me about this, and he was saying now would be the time when we have guys out that are injured and everything. Now would be the time for them to want to shine and to want to actually play really well. But that has not been the case. I mean, we thought that we're so deep that we have these guys as our backup players that could produce and perform, even though we don't have OG, we don't have Randall. Maybe some nights we don't have Jalen Brunson for some reason, but they have not been able to produce at the level we've been expecting. And it's really unfortunate. Honestly, I mean, Bogdanovich has had some good games. Burks, as I just mentioned, nothing really at all.
He only had the one. It was his first game here. He scored 22 against Indy, and that was it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to wonder, obviously, those stats that they had in Detroit, they're coming from a really, really bad team, okay? They're coming from, the worst team at that time, or maybe the second worst. I think the Wizards are now the worst. But you just have to wonder, like, were those stats even real? Were those real, or did they just put up those numbers because they had to? They were the only guys on the team doing
score
it.
100 points still. Every team scores 100 one way or another.
Yeah, I mean...
Pops goes multiple times. Burks and Bogey both need plays run for them. I do think with OG back at the very least, like Bogdanovich and Burks were both out there at the same time, but when they're out there separately, like for Burks, it was Brunson, Burks, Hart, OG, and I think Achua. And with the spacing around Burks, he actually had a couple of good pull-ups. He missed 1-3. He made a pull-up jumper, and it was like OG Anunoby's gravity as a three-point shooter combined with Dante DiVincenzo's gravity as a three-point shooter. Both of those guys being out together is going to help out everyone around them. And both Burks and Bogdanovich are 40% three-point shooters. Sooner or later, like, you got to return back to the mean, both positively and negatively. They're not going to stay at 30%. I just refuse to believe it. But Mill, let's get a little more positive. Let's go through the Philadelphia box score. Let's have a good time. Again,
oh my.
The guy in jail, Tobias Harris, 26 minutes, 2 points. He scored 1 point for every $20 million he's making. I could have done that. Someone give me $40 million. 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, a negative 20, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals. Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I honestly wonder how Philly fans feel about Tobias Harris not being able to really step up, given the amount of money he's being paid on his contract. I really wonder if they're going on a rant right now in their live streams.
That one dude that I hate, running back Philly, the guy that I started a beef with for no reason, literally just because he got mad that I didn't tag him. When, guys, by the way, we're having a sale right now, just as a great segue. Go to bignickenergy.com. The code is OGDAY. OGDAY. Everything in store is 50% off until at least midnight. I don't know if it lasts till 3 a.m. because of Pacific Coast time, but for at least the next 90 minutes, OG Day, 50% off at bignickenergy.com. Now back to the run it back story. This dude, literally, I cropped the whole screen, right? So you could see the run it back Philly. Here's our website. Here's merch. They have terrible merch. Not even from a Sixers fan, just in general, they have terrible merch. They could use someone like Ben to do their merch. And I'm like, I just took the thing and I was like, Philly fans are mad. This was after they beat the Knicks beating the first time this year. Philly fans are mad. It's all Tobias Harris' fault. First of all, it's always been Tobias Harris' fault. That's what happens when you overpay for a fourth band. You pay him like a second or a first guy. That's on you, whatever. And this guy got mad at me. Like, hello, your thing is everywhere. I don't need to tag you. If I was a random stranger and someone took our screen like this and it just showed Big Nick Energy, shop now at bignickenergy.com.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be
Personally.
mad either. I mean, you're a New York sports fan. You're a Knicks fan. It's not like anyone that follows you is going to want to visit their merch site or even visit their page to watch Philly post game shows or
Except a
streams.
troll, just a troll.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But I hope he's doing the same thing right now, ranting about Tobias Harris.
Oh God, he definitely is. Tim, we will get to Miles McBride. I didn't forget him, man. He's my second favorite player on the Knicks.
Oh,
OG's back.
you're
I
gonna
had
go
to
off about him.
I had to get the OG in there. Kyle Lowry, we had 2 points in 21 minutes, 1 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 6 assists and a turnover, 2 steals, 2 rebounds. Mo Bamba is Mo Bamba? No, not is Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba is the worst professional athlete to ever have a song written about them. Which, by the way, just to be a professional athlete to have a song written about you is, in fact, an accomplishment. Mo Bamba, congrats to you. You're from New York. You are New York's pride. I respect it. They
He
said you
doesn't
have a
even like the
7'10
song.
wingspan. You'd imagine you'd be better with it, but you are, in fact, the worst athlete to have a song.
Well, he doesn't like it, so he probably knows he doesn't deserve that song.
Yeah. I mean, they came out when he was what, a rookie or like the 1 year he was in college. How did they know he was going to be who he is? You know,
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, you had 17 points on 14 shots, man, and a game worse negative 29. Candace Parker would have been better taking those shots for you, although she is right now in this post game. She's taking a ton of shots from Knicks fans tonight, which she just keeps signing up for. Honestly, it's like T-ball out there. But
I don't
she
know
didn't
why
take the
she does
shots in the
it.
game. I don't know. Go ahead. Go off on her.
Oh, I mean, I just like she should just relax a little bit because you don't want to get any sports fan base mad, but especially not a Knicks fan base. I mean, we're pretty ruthless and we'll go at her. You know, it doesn't matter that she is a woman. Like, guys do not care. We'll just literally be ruthless to her and disrespectful, rude, all of that. But she should just relax what she says about the Knicks, or at least just get it right. Just get it right what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't be 0 for 100 if you just keep going against the Knicks. Candace, you could have chosen like 7 of the past 12 years to go against the Knicks, and you would have been very right over and over and over again. When we were cheering for Ron Baker, Clay Anthony Early, Langston Galloway, Alex Faye, there was a lot of dudes that you could have been talking crap about when you were going off against the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, the Villanova boys, OG Anunoby's game back, Miles McBride, who, I mean, didn't have the best game today, like from a setting up offense standpoint, but once again, 5 for 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. This man is a model of bench consistency. Like, Candace, you just keep choosing the wrong things. LB So Wavy, what a man. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Candace Parker's vibe during halftime on TT was so sus. It was so sus. Her vibe at the beginning of the game when she was like, oh, Shaq, Tyrese Maxey's in, sus. Vibe in the halftime, like, oh, damn, I chose the team that's losing by 28 right now. I suck. I'm going to not talk. Like, girl, what are you doing, man? You're an all-time WNBA great. Just don't talk shit about New York over and over and over and over again. That's it.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what goes through her head, but anyways, let's move on.
So just go to the next. Hart had 20, Brunson had 20, DiVincenzo had 16, Anunoby had 14, Achua had 13, McBride had 13. That is as balanced as can possibly be. That is phenomenal scoring balance.
I thought Hardenstein had more points. He ended up
only at 6.
It felt like he was taking like a lot of not driving to the basket dunks.
I think Achua had more of them. Achua had a lot of those good drives. Achua's gotten really good with his drop step and hop step, honestly. It's been amazing.
I would just rather him get to the basket instead of taking threes.
Achua, yeah. I mean, if you're left wide open, though, you kind of have to take it. If you shoot 30%, maybe you can get up to 35.
I mean, there was one play where I think he took the three, he bricked it. I think someone got the rebound, or he might have got his own rebound and just dunked it.
He only took 1 this game, and he went 2 for 4 last game. So, I mean, not the worst. The thing is, when he... Remember, so like when Obi Toppin, like early on in Obi Toppin's career, Obi became a better 3-point shooter. But even still, when Obi either swishes it or it's a brick, like a total brick, Like, that's kind of where Shu is at right now. It's either like he kind of swishes it or it's a total brick. We have 500 eyes on us right now. That's awesome. Everyone hit the like button, subscribe, check out our merch. We have a sale going on for the next hour, 20 minutes. OG Day is the promo code on bignickenergy.com. All of our merch is 50% off right now. Let's get back to this. Can't believe Candace Parker said Jalen didn't perform good versus the Heat in the playoffs. That's exactly why she's never going to let, like, New Yorkers are never going to let it go. We just aren't. Like, you literally lied. You doubled down. You compared being a Bears fan to a Knicks fan for some reason, which I guess kind of makes sense. But the Bears haven't won Super Bowl since 1985, which, as a Knicks fan, that would be even more recently. But, dude, like, I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm just so mad at this. I'm just so mad.
I know. She's got a lot of New York Knicks fans, like, riled up.
So much. The Knicks out-rebounded the Sixers by 20. They out-assisted them by 15. God, dominated the game. We had 6 more threes at better percent. We made 10 more field goals overall. This is just like an overall dominating performance top to bottom. Bob, what up, man? How's it going? Josh Hart's our insanity right now. Not the worst comparison. I think Josh Hart's better.
I think what we're seeing from him, I don't know. It's like insane. I mean, the triple doubles, those are just insane and highly impressive to be doing what he's doing at his height.
Facts. Corey Lindsey, what a huge win for the Knicks. Didn't let the Sixers back in the game. Bob again. Hart is adding the 3-point to his game, 40%. Above 40% from 3 since becoming a Knick at the All-Star break. Is that true since last year? Josh Hart's over 40%. I'm going to look that up.
He was 1 for 6 tonight.
I don't think it's that high because what is he on the year this year? I think he's only shooting in the mid-30s, so I wouldn't think it's that high.
I didn't count on it to be that high because last time I checked, before he kind of went on this little Linsanity run, everyone's saying, it was his lowest that it's ever been in his career.
He's shooting 33%. He shot 52% last year, though. So that's what it is. Terrence is getting mad. Terrence hates Candace Parker, which honestly is respect Terrence. I do too. I don't care about the comments or the thoughts on one Candace Parker. Her take on my team is irrelevant. Candace Parker is irrelevant about the Knicks. Gilbert Arenas is irrelevant about the Knicks. John Hollinger was irrelevant about the Knicks, but he's actually starting to become better and better. Respect, John. Way to see your bad ways. As a bald guy, from one bald guy to another, I want to like your takes. So good way to stop hating on New York. Mill, I want to ask you a question. Let's assume that Randall's gone for this road trip, right? Because the Knicks are about to play this West Coast trip. At least these 4 games. They're at Portland on Thursday, at Sacramento, at Golden State, at Denver. They're going to be the underdogs probably in 3 of these 4 games. Obviously, they're expected to beat Portland. Now that OG is back, what would you expect them to go? What would you want them to go in these 4 games realistically, and what would you be okay with?
I would be okay with 2-2, honestly. Like, we're still shorthanded. Let's not forget it. I mean, we got OG back. It's great. It's super great. And he definitely impacted the floor tonight, getting us that win. Even though, he didn't play the entire game. 29 minutes. Nice, calm 29 minutes. But still, like, he's the definition of an impact player. So I do expect our chances to go up by a lot for each game. But Denver, that'll be tough. But it also reminds me of last year, that win we had against Denver. Oh my God, one of the best wins of the season. Sorry to bring that up. It's so random, but
no, it was a great win. I remember it. It was awesome.
I was literally so random. I was going on a road trip to like Pennsylvania, and I just was watching the game on my phone, listening to it and everything. But such a great win and gritty win. Like I thought our team was just, we were serious. We were serious that we beat the Denver Nuggets and the way we did. But again, I believe we had a full healthy team at last year at that point. So I say 2-2. Our chances are a little bit higher because we have OG. But I think, would you consider tonight like a minutes restriction?
I don't even know because they were up by so much in the fourth quarter. How do you count that? They went into the fourth quarter up, like 28 points. At that point, the guy's coming off an injury. You don't need him to play. Yeah,
so if he's going to be on a minute restriction for, the entire trip, West Coast trip, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I think the Knicks are 13-2 with OG in the starting lineup, not 14-2, but either way, the Knicks are either 13 or 14-2 with OG in the starting lineup. This guy helps this team run on all cylinders and literally is what Tom Thibodeau would make in a laboratory.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I love watching him play. I'm so happy to have him back. I missed him.
Facts. Same here. Bob wants to see OG versus Kuminga and Precious versus Green. Mill, to follow up with the 2-2 thing, between Sacramento, I'm assuming one of them is Portland, right? I'm not even going to ask about that. Between Sacramento, Golden State, and Denver, which one do you think they would be most likely to win and why?
Ooh, I don't think we win against Denver. And Golden State, they beat us at home here not too long ago. But again, we didn't have OG in that game. And
Golden State played us really well because, you know what, they actually let Precious Achiuwa be wide open, and they had Draymond Green basically play free safety. And now that if with OG in the starting lineup, that's not an option. So I'm curious as to how that's going to actually go.
Yeah, how's Sacramento doing in the Western Conference? They up there like top 4?
No, they're 8th, 7th.
And Golden State is below them, like 10th?
9th or 10th, yeah.
I would say
it's all really tight, honestly.
Yeah, I would say it's possible we take a win against. I mean, I know we're 90% we're going to take the win against the Trailblazers, and then I would say the second win would come from the Warriors game.
I hope so. Bob goes in Steph out. Steph's supposed to come back Saturday, and the Knicks don't play until next Monday, so he should be back before then. LB goes, I don't think we lost to Denver in like over 5 years. That's 1 W. I went to the Denver game in Denver 2 years ago now. 3 years.
Oh, really?
2021, 2022. One of those two. We lost the game. We got blown out by like 35 points. I left at the third quarter. So
why were you in Denver?
Shannon bought us tickets for Valentine's Day. It was like that weekend to literally go and see this game. Because also Nikola Jokic was my favorite player at the time before he became too good, where I reverted to OG Anunoby. Brandon goes, Sacramento's so mid, they relied way too much on Fox and Sabonis. At the Knicks' worst earlier in the year, we relied a lot on Brunson and Randall, so I kind of get it. And DeMario Montague goes, he was there for herbs. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in Connecticut. Weed's been legal here for a little while, so I don't smoke. You could go to Denver and buy weed, but not necessarily the only go-to.
Yeah, someone commented on my page or something that I'm a herb, and like I had no idea what that meant, just because I didn't know. I don't keep up with like much slang that much.
It's okay. I'm not sure. Herb is pretty old at this point. I feel like herb is like, and you can say it either way, herb, whatever. It's like more my age than your age, so really it goes either way. LB goes, I think we win all 4 games. I'm feeling 3-1. I'm big on OG. I think he's more important to this team's success than Randall, for better or for worse. I'm sorry if I insult anyone by saying that, but the guy's just versatility defensively and the way he opens up the floor offensively, I think this team can go 3-1. And I'm looking to give the Warriors that like payback beatdown straight up, because the way Draymond Green and Moses Moody were both able to play defense is not going to happen with OG and Anunoby playing and then Precious Achiuwa solely playing the 5 instead of No, DeMario, we know you were calling us herbs. It was just related to the fact the word herb, we talked about it. I know you were talking about weed. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, I think we can go 3-1. And I like what sucks, Mill, is that like I pushed 2 different narratives. You know what I mean? Because I was like the Knicks are going to fall to the play-in, assuming that OG Randall was going to be out too long. But also I'm too high on OG and Anunoby to actually feel that now that he's back, even without Randall, they would fall that far. So now I have to pick which one of these 2 narratives I want to push and pretend to be right on. Yeah, whatever. No one watches this. Who gives a shit? The Knicks are going to be the top 4 seed because OG and Anunoby is that man, and they're going 3-1 on this road trip. You heard it here first. We're losing to Denver. We're winning the other 3.
You say that as 550 people are watching. No one watches this.
Whatever. I mean, most of them are on 537 are on Twitter and 415 are on YouTube. Twitter. So I really need the people on Twitter to come over to YouTube, hit the thumbs up, check out our merch. We have a sale going on for the next 70 minutes. OG Day is the promo code. You get 50% off. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like, All I'm looking for, subscribe if you want, preferably if you need. We're almost at 2,400. We're trying to get to 2,500. Then we're trying to get to 3K. Then we're trying to get to 100K. Then we're trying to make millions and millions of dollars and own MSG because me and Mill would be way better than James Dolan. You're welcome.
Ralph said Josh Hart is a 6'4" guard averaging 10 rebounds over the past 2 months. Only other guard averaging more rebounds is Luka. Yeah, he's the man. He's very impressive. And I think you mentioned that earlier too. You were saying who else is doing it. And I believe you mentioned Luka.
I was talking about, Ralph, by the way, thank you for supporting us and listening. Ralph, I work with, he gave me this.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
super dope. Ralph, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I hope you do enjoy the Big East tournament, and you're going to be watching a couple of the games at Madison Square Garden. So that's going to be awesome. I was referring to how Luka plays himself into game shape, and that Josh Hart for some reason, because you were saying how Hart's not always in game shape earlier in the year, or he just doesn't perform like he does later in the year. Which honestly, I'd rather someone turn up in March than November anyway. So I'm totally cool with it.
True. I mean, I 100% agree with that. It's funny that we say that though, because it's one thing that Knicks fans always went down on RJ was for always just slacking when the season started and coming off, slow starts. But I would rather someone ramp up right around this time. We're close to the playoffs, and hopefully this energy, this performances that he's being able to do right now can translate to the postseason.
In the big Twitter thread I'm in, my biggest thing with RJ overall was it's not even just RJ. It was RJ, Tibbs, Randall. This was never going to be a trifecta that worked because Tibbs isn't actually exactly known as an offensive mastermind maestro to draw up plays. So, it is what it is. It was never going to work out the way it possibly could. And Lethal Los came from Twitter. Let's go, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Much obliged. Now, if I can convince 500 other people to do the same thing, you'd be the leader of that cult, and I appreciate it. Respect. LB goes, will Steph be cleared to play by the time we see them? I think he's still injured since last Friday. I just looked at the latest report. He's actually expected to be cleared for this Saturday, and we don't play them till Monday next week. So it should actually be his second game back from injury from then. It would be, I want to see Steph play because I like watching great basketball. I want to see Steph sit out because I want the Knicks to have an easy win. Whatever works. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying before, though.
All good.
I'm so excited, Mill. Tobias Harris is in jail and Candace Parker sucks. That's all I know.
Bob mentioned earlier, he said in another comment to watch out for Monk, just saying. And then in this one, he said, Monk comes off the bench as a serious threat. Also, Sabonis is a better rebounder than Ihart. So you said 3-1. The third game you're taking as a win.
I would say we lose to Denver. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take us winning against the Kings.
Yes, and part of the reason is that I'm excited for Deuce McBride to come off the bench and actually chase Monk around. A lot of the teams in the West aren't exactly defensive stalwarts, with the Pelicans and the Timberwolves being two of the very few that focus on that end of the court. The Thunder are good on both sides, obviously, but most of them are more offensive based. Like the West averages scoring more than the East does year after year after year. And I think Monk is going to have a harder time scoring against the Knicks, especially with OG back, because with OG, not even about OG covering him, the Knicks just give up less threes, which without OG, as we saw earlier in the year and just in general, Thibodeau, the scheme just loves the drop coverage center and just giving up open threes over and over again. I just think between Hart, McBride, DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, I just don't think he's going to have as much of a scoring game as possible. Monk averages 15 points a game. In the past 10 games, he's had 9, 20, 18, 26, 11, 39, 14, 8, 12. So it's he has a 39 and a 9. You know what I mean? So it can really go any way depending on who's covering him. Sabonis, I expect to wrap up rebounds for sure. But Ihart, Precious, and Josh Hart ideally should overcome Sabonis as an individual, no matter how good he is at that end of the court. And Sabonis is a very large traffic cone defensively, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm more worried about Keegan Murray going off than I am Malik Monk, personally.
I think it should be a good one, honestly. Now that we have OG back, it should be a better matchup than it was expected to be without OG, Randall, Mitch, everyone.
I want to propose an idea to you and tell me what you think about it. We let Josh Hart skip the next game. We don't need him to play Portland. You've played 39 plus minutes, 11 games in a row. Give this guy. It looks like I thought he broke his hand for a second. Give the guy a break.
If it was up to us, sure, but Tibbs. Tibbs is not going to risk anyone. If they're healthy, they're playing.
Brandon, this is exactly why I would worry about him going off against the Knicks. He says he's complete trash right now. He's gone 3 for 11, 1 for 4, 3 for 8, 3 for 8 in the last 4 games. 3 games prior to that, 7 for 15, 9 for 17, 10 for 14. That 10 for 14 would happen against the Knicks so many times in our prior history. So I don't want to not worry about Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I'm always worried about someone just randomly going off on us, especially if they just have been in a bad funk and then it's us they decide to take it all out on. I'm waiting for Alec Burks to do that to some team.
Your lipstick audience girl. Him and Bohan. They actually both start against the Blazers, and they averaged 25 points between the two of them. They scored 50 combined at least.
Let's see. One thing I do want to say, though, is that I'm very upset. Not upset. Like, I don't want it to come off that way, but I'm mad that I went to the last game and not this one. Like, I went to one of the worst games of this season.
You
went
to the lowest scoring game since 2016.
Yeah, like I showed up to MSG to watch the Knicks put up 73 points and to brick a lot of shots. And then they play like this tonight, and OG's back. Like, what? I don't know, man. My luck.
What are you gonna do? It's not your fault. You didn't know.
I would have loved to have been there tonight. Oh, Brandon said you are a jinx. I was waiting for that, Brandon.
Once you said it, I mean, you really just typed it out for him, really.
I kind of do have a bad record of going to Knicks games, but we won't talk about it. No, he already has it in the chat. Oh well. I'm 0-3 this season, so yeah, it's 3 games, okay?
Mill, just don't go in the postseason. Just make sure you don't go to the playoff game.
Like someone's commented on my page and was like, "Don't show up for the playoffs." And I was like, "You think I can afford MSG tickets in the playoffs? I can't."
You know when you can go in the playoffs? If we're up 3-0 in the first round, you can go to the 4th game.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not taking that chance. I'll be at I don't know. They always have watch parties everywhere. Whatever.
You go to the watch party, like all the glass breaks from the bar stand or whatever, and just somehow it all shatters. There's like birds that come in from that haunted movie in the 60s, like birds fly into the bar.
I'm staying home and I'm sitting on my couch.
Oh my god. Just wrap yourself in bubble wrap. Like, they can't lose this way. I swear, it's not my fault.
It's so disappointing to show up the 3 times I did this season and to have them play and just brick so much. Man.
Terrence says the same thing. If you have a losing record, they'll stay home.
I will, Terrence. I'll stay home. I don't know who can afford MSG playoff tickets, but it's not me.
That's fair. That is fair. Mill, I don't have too much more. I mean, really, I just wanted to crap on Tobias Harris for about 20 minutes, and I did that for 3 and then got it all out. So what else do you want to talk about before we sign off?
Let's see. I feel like I had there's always so much Knick news. I mean, every day there's something, but I'm kind of blanking right now. I mean, we pretty much went through everyone through the box score. I mean, you even spoke a lot about the 76ers, and you had your rant about Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris and Candace Parker are not where it's at. That's it.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any more comments coming in?
Bob goes, wow, very Boston coming back from a Yankees 3-0 lead or the Giants winning against the 18-0 Patriots, just making jokes. But the Eastern Conference Finals is there. I've said this before. If we can avoid the Boston side, I think we lose to Boston at one time or another. I do have a good question for you. Are you starting to get worried that the Bucks are figuring it out under Doc? Because at the beginning of the year, they were projected as one of the top 2 teams in the East. Obviously, under Griffin, they had a great start, but they also hated their coach. They hire Doc. They start out terribly. I think it's 1-5, and then they're like, I don't know. They were on a big winning streak after the All-Star break. I want to see how many games they've actually won in a row. Are you starting to get a little worried that the Bucks are firmly ahead of the Knicks? They last beat the Clippers, and for the month of March, they are 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're only 3-2. Oh, but they won 4 in February, so they're 7-2 in their last 9 games. So are you starting to get a little worried about what Milwaukee's doing with Giannis, Dame, and them?
Wait, what did you say they were in their last 9 games?
7-2.
I mean, I guess I am a little bit worried, but again, I still think that with a fully healthy Knicks team, we could pretty much take on everyone, including the Celtics. But yeah, it does worry me a little bit because, I just wanted them to not figure it out and to just keep losing. When they were 1-5 earlier, that was crazy. I mean, new coach, and it wasn't looking good for them at all. But
every single meme about Doc being a bad tanking coach just comes out saying he sucks.
If they're figuring it out, good for them. We'll figure them out. I'll leave it at that.
Fair. Dope ass vegan. This might be the comment of the night. Also really messed up, so I don't know if I fully support this. In case the feds are watching, Kelly Oubre got the number of the car that hit him. It said Knicks forever.
That's crazy. I still wonder about that thing. I know that's so off topic, but I don't understand what happened to him. He got hit by a car, but it was like never fully or never further.
They said it was on camera, then it wasn't on camera,
Yeah.
then he was on a Ring camera, but like they thought he had to go to the hospital, but he's walking. He literally just walks up to the door and goes inside.
That's sus. They just dropped it too, man. They just dropped it. They're like, whatever.
They're like, he's out for the year. He's back next week. I don't know.
Yeah.
LB goes, the Bucks are losing the Kings right now. It says it's 63-45 in Sacramento. Actually, I really think we're better than Sacramento. Sacramento has a really, really strong home court advantage. That is one thing. The light the beam thing is real. Like they had a great home court last year. They what's their record?
They went out in the first round, right?
To the Warriors, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 17-12 at home this year, so definitely better at home than on the road. I just think we're better than Sacramento, just straight up. I'm just not worried about them. I know Sabonis and Fox can both take over a game. I don't know.
I was looking at the Eastern Conference standings. I'm just still surprised that we're in 4th place. Like what we've been through the last month, and we've been able to maintain. I know we slipped out and we were like 5th, I think, and Orlando took over 4th, but we're back there after the dreadful month that we've had. Facts. It's crazy.
The Pacers beat the Thunder tonight, so that's pretty interesting.
Oh wow.
In OKC no less. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, and then Milwaukee, Sacramento is the only other game that affects us standing wise. If Milwaukee loses, we'll be 9-game. We'll be 3.5 back of them and 3 games back in Cleveland. If we can get to the 3 seed, that would be awesome. I want to avoid the 4-5. I just want to avoid Boston for as long as possible.
I want to see Cleveland's schedule for the rest of the season. I think they have an easy schedule.
Okay, I'll just pull up. I'm not going to pull up the whole thing. I'll pull up the next 5 games, though. So at New Orleans, they'll be underdogs there. At Houston, that's a win. At Indy, that could go either way. Home for Miami, and then home for Minnesota, or at Minnesota, and then at Miami. I know those 7 games, but they can go 4. Mm-hmm. They can go 2-5. They can go 5-2 out of this. I don't.
Yeah, I really can't predict just because. Look, they've been a great team this season. They've won a lot of games. I mean,
even without their guys.
Yeah. But we need them to lose because we're trying to chase that.
Yeah, I don't. What's Milwaukee's schedule look like? I think they had a harder schedule than Cleveland did. Because after the 7 games, I said Cleveland then had a home and home with the Hornets. For God's sakes, like who made the schedule for them?
And I think the Boston Celtics have like the easiest too.
Orlando.
No one's chasing them.
Orlando has one of the easiest schedules left, which is why I'm like really.
Oh.
really scared actually. Like not scared of Orlando like in the
Yeah,
seeding. I
yeah.
think Orlando like has one of the top 6 locked up. They have like 7 games against like the last 6 teams this year left.
Oh man.
Whack. Who made the schedule? Come on,
Yeah,
schedule
I
people.
want to
Don't
know
you want the
because
Knicks to be in there?
it's rigged. It's
It is.
rigged.
Milwaukee, after they lose to Sacramento ideally tonight, knock on wood, they're down by 20 going into the halftime. Gonna hope that holds. Home for Philly, home for Phoenix, at Boston, home for Brooklyn, home for the Thunder, home for the Lakers, at New Orleans, at Atlanta. They have 3 hard games left out of the next 8 this month.
It's gonna be tough.
I think the Knicks are kind of like they're fighting more to stay out of the play-in than they are fighting for the 3 seed.
Yeah, the last few weeks have been more losing than winning. I don't think right now they're really trying to attempt to get the third. They're more about just winning games so we can stay where we're at
And get healthy. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Bob goes the Knicks are the 16th ranked strength of schedule after the All-Star break. Cleveland 17th. Like they're next to each other. Brandon goes with Don out. I think we have a legit chance of catching the 3 seed. I'm pretty sure Mitchell's back within the next 2 or 3 games. He's not going to be out that long. And what we saw earlier in the year when Cleveland was like going like 18-2, yeah, against a soft schedule, but when they only have one of Garland and Mitchell and one of Allen and Mobley, their team just makes more sense. Like then they have Merrill, Niang, Wade, who else? They had Tristan Thompson. He got hurt for a while. He got suspended for steroids or some shit, like a Kardashian would, obviously. No, but their team just like makes so much more sense when they don't have the 2. There's 2 major ball hand. Oh, Karis LeVert, Max Strus, Okoro plays defense. They have like a bunch of wings to go around their 1 big and 1 small, which is how most of the NBA works now. Versus Garland and Mitchell, it's like your turn, my turn. Mobley and Allen, it's like which one of us rolls now? Because Mobley's like, I can make a 3. JK, shoot 20%. Like, I don't think they're actually bad without them.
Yeah, I'm curious how long. I mean, you just said like you're guessing 2 to 3 more games out for Mitchell. I don't know how serious his injury is.
He's listed as questionable for tomorrow, so you can't be much more longer than that.
Yeah.
Here, we could probably sign off. We're at about 52 minutes in. It's time for a win streak. OG's back. Hassan, first time I saw you turn in. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up, all that good stuff. Appreciate it. Bob goes, I think the Bucks are the 5th hardest schedule. And he's keeping us updated in the game. They're down by 18 points right now. It's about to be halftime. Wavy goes, when did the Pacers creep up the standings? They never fell worse than 7th. I mean, so the Knicks, so right now, just to update as we're recording, the Knicks are, we'll just go, the Knicks are 4th, and then 8th place is Miami. They're only 2.5 back. So between 4th and 8th is 2.5 games. Like, 1 win or loss switches so much. Like,
it's very close.
Philly went from 5th to 7th by losing this game. And Philly could have gone from 5th to 4th if they won the game.
Wait, the 76ers are 7th now?
They were 5th before they lost to the Knicks tonight.
Oh, wow.
That's how close it is.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, they'll fall into the play-in and their season will just be over if Embiid doesn't come back.
Well, that was where my first, my original pessimistic thought process was, that the Knicks and Sixers would both fall to the play-in because they're missing guys. The Knicks would get their guys back first before Embiid. The Knicks would win the 7 seed. Then they would beat the Cavs in the 2-7. Then they would beat the Bucks in the 3-7. And then they would lose to the Celtics.
Yeah.
So that's why I was never really scared of falling to the play-in in my crazy scenario of whatever. But at this point, I mean, OG literally reminded us all tonight that he's literally the skeleton key that unlocks so much on both sides of the court.
Yeah, I was going to make a YouTube video a week ago, like saying how we should like purposely fall down. You know, you brought it up first, but I was just going to make a whole video saying, you know, we should actually try to get into fall down to 6th, 7th, or, you know, even the play-in. But now that OG's back, I don't want to say that at all. You said it earlier. We're going to try to chase that 3rd seed.
And we're going to end up in the 4 or 5 anyway. So Boston, we're still going to give you a hard time. You're going to win in 6, but I'll be angry, man. Dope ass vegan goes, I love you guys. I watch the Knicks and you guys from Sloan Kettering Center Cancer Center. Unfortunately, the nurse is crazy with the Knicks game. Love the Knicks. Yo, dude, thank you for being a part of the health community.
Thank
I know
you.
that's really hard. If you were there during COVID, like, God bless you. That was insane. And thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. Bob
Yeah,
goes, Monk
salute
has
to you.
17 points, 12 in the second quarter. Monk's scary. I'm telling you, man, I have faith in Deuce with pride. Is it irrational? Maybe, but I do.
I think we pretty much spoke about everything tonight.
Mill, where can people find you and tell them about the sale that we have for the next 49 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't know already, on Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is mill.media. Twitter is mill sports media. I mean, I'm sure if you search mill media, it'll still come up. But yeah, if you guys want to check out me on there, and also we do have a
Tags
50%.
are under our heads
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
we have it right there. There's a 50% off sale going on right now in the Big Nick Energy shop. Can you say the code because I forgot it?
OG Day. It is OG Day. OGDAY.
That's so perfect. Man,
Yeah.
everyone should go check out the merch because 50% off is a huge steal. So go check it out. Go get some of your favorite players' merch right now.
Facts. Terrence goes, Knicks will not be in the play-in. They will be in the 3 or 2 seed. Terrence, you are a much more confident and optimistic person than I am. We're going to be the 4 or 5. But, I mean, if we can get to the 2-3, let's go. LFG, baby. Let's
Dope
go
supporting
Knicks.
too.
I'm starting to
Get
think
the
this
merch.
might be one. I'm starting to think this might be a Vin burner. I'm not going to lie. But let's go Knicks.
Oh man, no, there's a profile photo.
Peace. It's never stopped before.